everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions. I am Preeti, working as Oracle Fusion Functional Consultant. So in the series of webinar, we discuss the topics for creation of standard invoice in the AR module in the Oracle Fusion application. Then we have gone through how to create the credit memo and debit memo. Then in the second session of this webinar series, we discussed the process which is related to the receipts. Then in the third session, we discussed the chargeback transaction, receipt batch in a spreadsheet and reciprocal customer. And in the last session, we have discussed the cross-currency receipt configuration, receipt write-off configuration and customer refund configuration. So in the fifth day of this webinar series, we will discuss 5 topics. So let's start with aging method and buckets. So why we use aging method in the Oracle Fusion application? Aging buckets are time periods you can use to review and report on your open receivables. For example, the 4 bucket aging that receivables provides consists of 4 periods, that is minus 999 to 0 days, past due 1 to 30 days past due, 31 to 61 days past due and 61 to 91 days past due. It will give you the information regarding the open receivables in the application according to the days it is pending. So we have to do the configurations in the application. Your user must have the collection manager role, and then you have to provide your user the data access at the business unit level for this role. Then we have to create the aging method, and for the report we have to run the process, that is collections aging 4 bucket report. So we will directly move to our application and we'll see how to do it practically. So here we are in the application now. First step is that we have to provide our user the role collection manager. For that you have to go to the navigator, and from navigator go to the tools, and in the tools you can see security console. Click on it. Then click on user tab and search for the user Casey Brown. Click on the display name, then click on edit. Let's search whether this user have the collection manager role. So you can see on my screen that this user already have collection manager role. If in case your user does not have this role, you have to go to this add icon and you have to search for the collection manager role in the search option, and then you have to click on add role membership, and then you have to click on done. So this user already have collection manager role, so let's cancel it. Now our second step is that we have to provide the data access to this user at business unit level for collection manager role. For providing the data access, you have to go to the setup and maintenance, and here search for the task, that is manage data access for user. So this is the task, that is manage data access for users. Click on it. Now you have to click on this add icon, and here you have to search for the user name, and here you have to search for the role, and this is the role, that is collection manager. In the security context, select business unit. As I told you that you have to provide the data access to this user at business unit level. So in the security context, we have to select it as business unit. Now in the security context value, you have to select the business unit name. click on save and close. So you can see the message on the screen that a record with this combination of values already exists. That means this user already have data access for this role at this business unit level. And once you provide the data access, you have to run the LDAP job from the security console from the scheduled processes. For that you have to go to tools and then you have to go to the scheduled processes. Then click on schedule new process. Now here search for LDAP job which synchronize the role with the users. Whenever you provide any new role to the user and then provide data access for the role, then you have to run the LDAP job. Click on OK and then again click on OK and then click on submit. So we have provided the role and then we have provided the data access at business unit level, and also we have run the LDAP job. Now next step is that we have to create the aging bucket method. For creating the aging bucket method, there is a task that is manage aging methods. For that you have to go to the setup and maintenance. Now here you can search for the task. You can see this is the manage aging methods. This is the task. Click on it and click on this task. Now from here you can create your aging method. Click on add and give the name of the aging method here. Now here you have to select the aging type. So these are the types which are predetermined by the Oracle application. So as you can see, the name that I have given to my aging method is for aging bucket method. So I will select here the aging type as for bucket aging, and in the enable select yes. Aging method set. So here it is asking for reference data set. Let's select it as customer site set. Give the description here. And now you have to click on this save option, then only this field will be activated. Right now you can see that these options are faded out. Now click on save. Let's take it as 1 to 10. Then in the second, let's take it as 11 to 20. So we are creating 4 aging buckets. Our data will be bifurcated in 4 aging buckets which we are giving here, that is 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 38 and above 30. So we have provided 4 aging buckets here, that is 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30 and above 31. Now we can click on save and close. So this is the only aging bucket that we have created now, and now our next step is that we have to run the process through schedule processes, that is collections aging 4 bucket report. Now here when you will run this process, it will bifurcate your open receivable according to the aging that we have provided right now. Go to tools, and then go to schedule processes. Click on schedule new process. Now click on search. Search for collections aging 4 bucket report. Click on this process and then click on OK. You can see the description here. Identifies customer open transaction information using 4 bucket aging method. Click on OK. Now here you have to select the business unit. So we have provided the business unit. Now you have to give the order by. So I just want the report for the customer basis. In the report summary, let's take it as invoice summary, and in the aging bucket method, let's give the bucket method that we have provided. In the report format, I am taking it as detail. And then click on submit. Click on OK. Now refresh this page. So this status of this process is succeeded now. We can view the report now. Click on this republish icon and then export this report in the HTML format. You can see the report is showed as per the invoice details. So it is showing as per the aging of the invoice, that is current 1 to 30, 31 to 60 and 60 plus. So in this way we can generate the report of the open invoices. For that you have to create the aging method, and you can apply that aging method while generating your report. So it was about the aging bucket method task. Now we will move to our next task, that is revenue reorganization configuration. So here the contract with the customer stipulates that billing should occur every 3 months, while revenue should be recognized every month. So when you are deferring the receivable every month, unbilled receivable reorganized, at that time the billing entry will be passed as unbilled receivable account debit to revenue, and in the month actual customer billing it will be receivable account debit to unbilled receivable. When you are deferring the revenue every month, the entry will be passed as receivable to unearned revenue, and in the month of actual revenue recognition the entry will be passed as unearned revenue to revenue account credit. And for the revenue reorganization configuration, these are the configuration that you have to do in the application. First, in the manage auto accounting rules, you have to provide the valid accounts. So when you are creating the journal entry for the revenues or for deferring receivables, on that time the accounts will be picked from the auto accounting rules. Then you have to do the revenue scheduling rules. When you want your revenue to be recognized, you have to manage that from the task, that is manage revenue scheduling rules. Then you have to run one process, that is recognize revenue. So we will directly move to our application and we'll see how to do it practically. Now go to setup and maintenance, and then here you have to search for the manage auto accounting rules. This is the task, that is manage auto accounting rules. Click on it. Now search with the business unit name. You can see on the screen that the segment values are already given for the account type. So these are the account types for which you have to give the segment values, and these are the segments which we have used at the time of loading the chart of accounts. And whenever you are scheduling any revenue recognition or receivable recognition, on that time the system will automatically pick the accounts from the auto accounting rules configuration. So when you are clicking on receivable, you can see that the account for the receivable will be picked from the transaction type. So while creating the transaction type, we provide the relevant accounts there. Also you can provide the account in the constant value. Same goes with the revenue, and also we have to do it for the unearned revenue and unbilled receivable. So this is the account which is provided by the user in the auto accounting rule, and this is the account for the unbilled receivable. So this is the constant value provided by the user. And when we create transaction type, you can also mention the valid account through the transaction type. So in this way you can create the auto counting rule, and at the creation of auto counting rule you have to provide the valid account and valid values for the segments, and at the time of revenue scheduling the system will pick the relevant accounts from the auto counting rules. Now click on save and close. Our next task is that we have to manage the revenue scheduling rules. For the revenue scheduling rules, you have to search for the task that is manage revenue scheduling rules. Click on it. And here you have to create revenue scheduling rules as per your business requirement. Now click on this add icon. Select the reference data set and give the name to your revenue scheduling. The status should be active, then you will be able to use this scheduling rule while creating the transaction. Now here you have to select the type of this revenue scheduling rule. Let's take it as fixed, and you can select the type as per your own business requirement. So we are creating the 3-month scheduling rule, so in the number of periods you have to take it as 3. And on what basis you want to recognize, you can mention here. Let's take it as 60, 25 and 15. This is how the revenue should be bifurcated in these 3 periods. Now click on done. You can see the status as active, and now click on save and close. Now we have to create the transaction and provide the revenue scheduling rule. For that, go to the billing workbench area of receivable. Go to task list and then click on create transaction. So transaction class is invoice. Here is the business unit name. Here you have to select the transaction source, and here you have to select the transaction type. Now here you have to select the invoicing rule. So if you are selecting it as in advance, then it will defer the revenue, and if you are selecting it as in arrears, then it is used for deferred billing. So in our case we will select in arrears. If you are selecting in advance, it will use for deferring the revenue, and if you are using in arrears, then it means it will defer your receivables. So in my case I am using in arrears. Now here you have to provide the customer name, provide the item details here. So I have provided the item details. Now you can see the tab here, that is revenue scheduling. Here you have to provide the rule that you have created now for the revenue scheduling. So this is the revenue scheduling rule that we have created in our last task. Select this task for the revenue scheduling. Now click on save. Select the payment term here. So you have added an invoicing rule and revenue scheduling rule to the transaction. The accounting date has been reset to this 6/12/23. Okay. Now go to actions. Click on complete and close for this invoice. And this is the transaction number. So we have created the transaction, and while creating the transaction we have provided the revenue scheduling rule. Now our next step is that we have to run the process through schedule processes, that is recognize revenue. For that, go to the schedule processes. Click on schedule new process, and here you have to search for the process that you have to run for recognizing the revenue. So this is the process that we need to run. Click on this process and then click on OK. You can read the description, that is generates the revenue distribution records for invoices and credit memos that use invoicing and revenue scheduling rules. Now click on OK. Here you have to search for the business unit name, and in the print format select this as detail. Now click on submit. Refresh this page. Through this process, the report will be generated. So the status is succeeded for this process now. Click on this process, and below it will generate one report. You can see here, click on republish icon. Now export in HTML format. So we have created the transaction for 20,000, and you can see here that it bifurcated that amount into three, that is 16, 60, 25 and 50. So in this way you can use the revenue reorganization configuration for your business requirement. And in this way you can generate the report for the same. Now we will directly move to the billing workbench area. And here we will search for this transaction, the transaction that we have created, that amount will be 20,000. Click on manage transaction, and here we have to put the transaction number 74766. Click on this transaction number, and go to actions, and then click on account in draft. Click on view accounting, and here you can see the entry for the same. That is unbilled receivable to revenue, that is 12,000. Then again unbilled receivable to revenue, that is 5,000. You can see here, this is the 20,000 now, the transaction that we have created, and this is the revenue 5,012 and 3, and this is the unbilled receivable entry. So in this way we can create the revenue scheduling in the application. Let's move to the next task for the day. Now we will discuss how to review the customer account balances. For that, go to the receivable workbench area. And then go to the task panel, and here you can see the customer account balances, that is review customer account. Now before going for this task, you have to run two processes in the application through the schedule processes. So we will directly move to the schedule process page, and from there we will run this process. Go to schedule processes, click on this schedule new process, and process name is process receivables transaction for customer account summaries. Now click on search here. So this is the process that we have to run before reviewing the customer accounts. Click on OK, and now here we will read the description, that is update customer account summaries. Click on OK again. Click on submit. Refresh this page. And we will wait till the time this status will get succeeded. Let's run the second process. Next process name is refresh receivables transaction for customer account summaries. Click on OK here, and you can read the description here. Populate summary tables after a set of data is migrated or corrected. Click on OK. Then click on submit. Refresh this page. So both the processes that we have run for the purpose of reviewing the customer account has got succeeded. Now we have to go to the billing workbench area. Now you can see the option here, that is review customer accounts. Click on this option. Let's search with the customer name. Come to the overview tab, and here you can see the open receivables. This is the amount, this is the count, this is the transaction due. That means payment is pending for these open receivables. And here you can, in the overview, you can see the information about the open receivables. Now move to the tab that is activities. So this is the detail which is about total open receivable. Here you can select the all option. Then you will be able to see the activities for all kind of transactions. Also here you can select the date. So we have only these transactions for this customer. Now click on view balance details. So this is the balance detail. This is only particularly for this invoice. Now go to this invoice and click on view balance detail. This is the detail about this invoice. So in this way you can see the detail or information about the open receivable, and if you want to see all the activities you can select the all option here. Now let's check with other customer too. let's open the customer account on the random basis. Let's take business world, go to the overview. So you can see the open receivables details for this business world customer. This is the transaction due, this is the past due. Now go to the activities, click on all here. So these are the most recent activities that have taken place with this customer. This is the invoice detail. Now you can click on this invoice and you can view the balance details. So this is the original amount and there is no payment received against this invoice, and this is the payment that we have received from this customer. So in the view activities, you can see the activities that have taken place with this customer. So for reviewing the customer accounts, you have to first run two processes. One is process receivables transaction for customer account summaries, and another one is refresh receivables transaction for customer account summaries, and then only you can view the customer accounts detail. So our next task for the day is that we have to create accounting entries for the receivable, and we have to transfer to the general ledger. For creating the accounting, we have to go to the schedule processes, and from these schedule processes we have to run one process, that is create accounting. Click on this schedule new process. Click on search here and search for the process, that is create accounting. Now search for this process, click on this process, and here you can read the description. Create subledger journal entries, click on OK, and here you have to select the subledger application. So we want to create the entries for the receivable module. In the ledger, select the ledger on which you are working. Here you can select the process category. Right now I am leaving it blank. Select the end date. What should be the accounting mode? So if you want to do the accounting in draft mode, you can select draft, and if you want to select the final mode, you can select the final mode. Let's take it as final only. Process event, so I am taking it all. What should be the report style? Let's take it as a detail. Transfer to general ledger. Say if you want to create accounting and if you don't want to transfer that entry to the general ledger, you can select no here. So in my case, I want to create accounting entries and also I want to transfer it to the general ledger, so I'm taking it as yes here. Also you can mention the journal batch name. And now click on submit. Click on OK. refresh this page and wait for the status to get changed to the succeeded. Now when this create accounting execution report will be succeeded, then the app system will generate the report for the accounting entries. So let's wait for the status to get changed from completed to succeeded. So here you can see the status for this process is succeeded now. Click on this and below you will see that system has generated the report. Click on this republish icon and here you have to export the report in the HTML format. So this is how the system will generate the accounting entry report. Okay, so the period for the ledgers is not open. You can see the error message here. The accounting date is 1st June 21st, but it is not open in the application. You must open the accounting period or modify the journal entry rules set or the source value to use a different accounting date. So through the general ledger, you can open the accounting periods, and after that you will not be able to see these errors. So let me tell you how to open the periods in the application. For that you have to go to the navigator, and from navigator click on general ledger workbench area. Click on period close. Now here you can select the ledger, as you have got the error message that for this ledger the accounting period is not open. So you can select the ledger, and from here you can open the periods for the same. So in this way we can create accounting. So we have same error that the period is not open in the application. So I have told you how to open the period in the application. Once the periods will be open for the subledger and the general ledger, the accounting will be done successfully. So in this way you can create the accounting in the application. So in today's session we have discussed the aging bucket, then we have discussed the revenue reorganization configurations, then we have discussed how to review the customer accounts, then we have discussed how to create the accounting entries and how to transfer it to the general ledger. Thank you so much for joining the session. Have a good day.